Welcome, friends, to the Soul Talk podcast, a show where we explore and uncover the path to the heart, amplifying your conscience. Join me as we meet incredible souls who are in this journey and learn from their experience and different methods that will make you vibrate your heart. Let's get into it. Level 3 of Path to the Heart, that is the healer. And in this one, we are going to be, let me just share with you all the models. So like that, you have an idea. So we have actually 25 models that we're going to be seeing. So we are going to be working with, like I mentioned, some of them are going to be practice and that we need to do those practice and then between each other, because at the end, when we are working with people, we need to know how we're going to be working with them. We're going to be studying precisely all the materials that we're going to be working. Now they're going to be focused more into your psychic powers. Like right now, we're going to be working in the model, believing and honoring yourself, but it is going to be focused more in believing in your intuition, in your channeling, in your psychic powers, not only in the personal level. The personal level is important, but it's going to work with it together, but it's going to be more into the your psychic powers. So that's why we're going to be working a little bit with this one. Like we have seen in level 1, believing in yourself, it is being basically fomented by religions and also in the social structures of the society. They have tell us in what is real and what is not real. So when the moment you start saying that your intuition, you're following your intuition, they're going to say, oh, why are you feeling with that? Go with the logic, go what it is in the book, you know? Why? Because we're going to be learning how to heal people, or in a way, knowing that some traumas come from the past, including past lives, and that is not in any book. Maybe you can find it in the Akashic records, but if you're seeing your visions, that is very important. Even connecting to the Akashic records, you're having a telepathic communication with them. So everything that from now on, we're going to start going more with our magical gifts. So it is important to understand that we need to work with those limitations that keeping you stuck wherever you are. So like that, you start using your channeling and all your gifts that you have into in believing more in yourself. So that's what, and remember, it comes a lot of this when we were kids, when we were little. As kids, we knew what it was happening, and we had our imaginary friends, many of us, or we received angels, or we received messages and so forth. But when we went to the adults and tell them what it was going on, they gaslight us. So we stopped slowly believing in ourselves, and we learn very fast at school that we talk about our magical gifts or our guides or friends, imaginary friends, like we call them, and the other kids couldn't do it. They will make fun of us, and we will be gonna be rejected. So that's very fast that we stop mentioning or talking, or even we start believing in ourselves. That's where everything went cut off. So it obviously affects us in every aspect of our lives, not believing in ourselves. It affects us in our personal transformation and growth and fulfillment that we need to build in ourselves again. It is inherent that if you love yourself and you believe in yourself, you're being selfish. That's part of what they teach us. So how dare you love yourself? How you're gonna believe in yourself? I'm gonna repeat this part that I feel that it is one of the ways I came to understand it, because when I start painting about when I started painting when I was 13, when I started exhibiting my work, and people were asking me, are you an artist? I say, well, I paint once in a while, And just to say it later on, I am an artist. I have to go to a process of actually really believing in my craft and my ability. And you're going to be healers, you're going to be coaches, you're going to be psychics. You need to believe in you as the same process that I had to went when I was precisely being an artist to say, yes, I am an artist. I just don't paint once in a while. No, this is who I am. Because even if you're not having a client in front that you're doing a reading or doing a healing, you're going to need actually to believe in your psychic powers, because guess what? Your guides are with you 24/7, and they're going to be giving you messages 24/7. They already do it, but now do you put attention to it? So we're going to be, you self-doubt yourself how you're going to be doing the healing. Let's say you're using magnets. How do you know actually the magnets really work in your clients? You self-doubt yourself, you're putting that intention to when you're doing the remember the intention, it is part of the same magic that we're putting in whatever we do. It doesn't matter if it's Reiki or whatever it is. We have to believe in ourselves that actually the Reiki or the magnets or the psychic reading or the Akashic or whatever we're doing or going in theta level or whatever it is, even when we're doing regressions, that we're talking about past lives. If we don't believe in us, how do we know we are giving a good service to our clients? So that's why it is important to go through all this again of believing in ourselves, because this is going to help us in our own, precisely in our own beliefs, how we're doing our work. So we're going to be reclaiming our power back. So we're going to need to stop gaslighting ourselves. This is a very important one because we tend to gaslight ourselves. So, I'm sorry for the first one. I forgot to change that one. You must first believe in yourself, in your innate potential. The reality is to create your thoughts and your beliefs, rekindling your intuitive abilities to trust yourself and the universe. It is a matter of faith. Remember that if we, let's say, if we pray to God, source, universe, whatever we are, or the goddess or the gods or whatever we are believing, and we ask them for help us to guide us or help us this client or help us to heal or help us to connect or help us to whatever we're doing. And if we are losing, if we don't have that faith that actually we're receiving the message, how we're going to give the service to others? So it is important to understand that it is not arrogance believing in ourselves that we are good enough. Because remember, the belief of we're good enough, it is an innate power of all of us. And if you're self-doubting yourself, it's because you're giving too much power to the other people that do not believe in anything or believe in science or believe in only what the Bible says, you know, telling us what we should be feeling, if we're good enough or not. This has to do a lot with how we sabotage ourselves or we have the imposter syndrome. So this is important to, we have to remove that. So we're going to be needing to honor our existence, that we are multidimensional beings living in a human body. Why? Because we are going to be connecting to all ourselves in different dimensions in this level. So that's why it is very important to believe in ourselves, because when you connect to one of your doubles, one of your two multidimensional beings, that it is you, it is, if you don't believe in yourself, you're gonna start feeling really crazy, because that's what the society told you, that you're hearing voices or you're hearing or feeling no senses, or your ears are doing more noise, etc. It's like, oh, you need to go to the doctor because you have rhinitis or something like that in your ear. Something is wrong with your ear. And you're going to find that no medication in the world is actually going to heal it until you actually talk to them and say, I want to hear the message in a different way. This is too loud. This is bothering me. And they will change it because you're connecting to different levels of dimensions that we're going to be going soon, very soon into that class, the next week, in fact. So reclaiming your connection, it must be embracing your playful, imaginative spirit. Remember when we were kids and we can imagine, let's imagine that we're a tree and let's imagine how we're doing this. Exactly the same when we're doing a meditation that we're guiding you, connect to the Mother Gaia and observe those are our imagination at the same time. It is what it creates actually that connection. Because when you're connecting to your higher self, it is to your third eye many times. First, it's going to start like that. Or maybe you're going to start seeing beings. But you can gaslight yourself when you're having the being in there. When we get there, you're going to start, I'm going to share with you my own experience when I see them. And you're going to see that probably you're already doing it in this moment. So, but we tend to gaslight ourselves. Okay, through visualization and meditations, sometimes that's where we connect with them because many people connect with them. They don't have the third eye open, so they're going to be connecting through imagination and visualizations. You have to have faith on you, not necessarily on me, but on you. That's what it is important. So remember that doing that shadow work that we know how to do it at this point, it is why I'm not believing in myself. And we need to go back and go back in ourselves to see why I'm not believing in you. Oh, I remember because they told me I'd say this to my mom when I was 7 years old, that I was seeing this angel. And my mom say, oh, angels do not exist. Or no, that only happens to people that it works in the church or the nuns or this and that. But that doesn't happen to regular people, unless you're a minister or something like that. So here it is where we have to remember that every single human being, if they believe in that or not, we are multidimensional beings living in a human life experience. We chose that at the same time. Now, how to believe in yourselves again. It is healed we're going to be healing through our shadow work. That is very important. You're going to continue asking questions. Why don't believe in me? Why I'm self-doubting? Why, all those kind of questions are very, very important that you ask yourself, because that's where we're going to be starting. And in the book that I sent you, in the page 11, you're going to have a bunch of questions in there that I want you to do, that I highly recommend you to go through those. Now, you're going to surround yourself with belief. Spend some time encouraging your spirit to grow, and trust that your psychic potential, a supported community like we are, that, hey, sometimes we just need collaboration or confirmation from other. So don't be afraid in this group to share, what, here's a channel message, like Anna has done it, or hey, I have a vision that you were doing this and this and this. Don't be afraid. And the other one is going to say, you know what? Yes, I received the same message, or yes, I'm passing through this. Why? Because confirmations it's like exercising a muscle. More that we exercise that muscle, it becomes stronger. Practice make the teacher. And we need to trust that we can share those messages between all of us. So because in the end, we're going to be practicing between all of us. So that we can get confirmation about our own intuition or our own guidance that we're receiving. We need to embrace our multidimensional nature. because here we are going to start communicating with that multidimensional being that we are. You're going to get to know more deeply your higher self. We have to celebrate every insight because it is like when you receive something beautiful and amazing happen to you and you don't celebrate it. It is like saying to the universe, I'm not interested, So it's not going to give you more of that because for you it's the same. You want coffee or tea, it's the same. So the universe is like, oh, okay, here's water. Why? Because you did not celebrate it. So when you have confirmation, I want you to give thanks. Thank you because I received this message. Celebrate it. Oh, I got it right. Or I got the message or whatever it is. Remember that that's part of building the muscle that we're going to be building to make it stronger that we already have. Because I know everybody in this group already have the muscle. Now we need to make it stronger. So we learn how to use it in our benefit and our clients' benefit. So, of course, we're going to need to practice constantly about this. Simply like I'm going to go to the supermarket and I just ask before I arrive for a parking space close to the door. Something as simple as that. So that is practice, and your intuition is going to tell you to turn to the right instead to the left, and you're going to follow your intuition. And you're going to turn to the right, and there is your parking spot. Believe me, I do it all the time, and I find even in the mall, parking. So those are little things that we can start practicing. Trust your own power and your own reality, because this is when we're going to start seeing the matrix in a way, how it kind of get dissolved, because we're going to start seeing between the veils. We're going to start seeing, you, of course, if you need help, remember that your guides, angels, higher self, they cannot intervene unless you ask them for help. It's a law of no intervention. So if you don't ask to them, they cannot tell you anything. They cannot intervene. They just were like, oh my God, there she goes again. That's the best I can do. But if we ask, hey, guide me, and follow that guidance, they're going to give you more material to work with. But if they tell you, you should turn to the right and you turn to the left, it's like, I'm not going to tell her anything. Because either way, she's not listening to me. So that's why we're going to start building that relationship at the same time. Not only the muscle, the relationship with our guidance. Now, we have to reclaim our belief in yourself. And that is the key to unlocking all your psychic abilities, guys. So we have to reflect in the questions that I told you in the page 11 in the book. And we have this belief in the belief you don't receive messages at your own if you have the belief I don't receive messages, so that's a belief. Remember that we can work with the beliefs. What is the origin of that question? You don't receive messages. Oh, it comes from my mom, or it comes from my husband that is atheist, and he's like, you don't receive messages, so that's a belief. But if I accept what he told me, that he's an atheist, like, you don't receive messages, so I'm never going to receive a message because I adopt that programming that someone put on me. So when you're going to encounter all these beliefs that you already have for yourself, ask yourself, where is it coming from? Oh, it comes from my mom, or it comes from my neighbor, it comes from my best friend, or it comes from my husband or my kids, or whoever that limits you. Ask yourself if this is true for me, because it might be true for them. but not necessarily it is true for you. There's not an absolute truth in this. Everybody has the truth in this moment, because the truth also can change tomorrow, the next week. How I explain my daughter is like, in this moment, this is what I believe. How it's gonna be in 1 month, in 1 year, in 10 years, it might change. I am not the same person that I was when I was 15 or when I was 30, or when I was 40 or even 50. I am a very different person now. So that truth is gonna change. So don't fixate yourself in one little square that this is what I believe and this is the absolute truth, because then you're putting yourself in a little box. That's one of the reasons why I don't have religion, because they put me in a little box and I want to be amplified all the time, because your belief, your truths are always going to change. So, and something that you can use in your beliefs if you're having the problem is like, I don't receive messages. It is, I am a psychic. Okay. So I want you to do that exercise about your beliefs to know where you are at. That's kind of the homeworks. So like that, you know where you are at. Okay. You find one that you have to work. Okay. We're going to talk about it in the next class. So I want you to question yourself and do these practices with yourself. And you're having a client, is like, what is my next client is going to need from me before you even see the client? Sometimes when someone booked me, in the moment they book me, I already receiving the messages, what they're going to receive, what they're going to need, this client. So when I'm talking to them, I already know what I'm going to be working with them, even before they even tell me what they're going to be working with them. I saw the Calendly telling me, hey, you have an appointment this day at this time, but I already know. So I want you to start practicing that. What will happen in what happened in this situation in this week? Am I gonna have 5 clients? Am I gonna have 10? Or am I gonna not have time for any of them? Am I gonna be too busy working in something else? But I don't want you to use your logic in these questions. That's part of the homework. I don't want you to use your logic. I want you to use your intuition, because we're starting to build the muscle. You see how this class is a little bit different than believing in yourself than the beginning? Because here's practical uses for your psychic abilities. So, and this is just testing. So like that, you start having confirmations and you start molding yourself into that. And we need to do in our meditation, sometimes we can do those projections. How do I see myself in the future as yourself in the situation that you're passing through? Am I going to be in the same job or in the same business or in the same house? Put a time frame, put it in a year, put it in 5 years, put it in 3 months. You choose. And remember, you need affirmations. I am psychic. I know what is happening. I know what is coming on. Whatever it is, the affirmations that you're needing for the beliefs that you're having. Remember that here we're gonna go a little bit more deeper into our psychic abilities and believing in your psychic abilities.